And welcome everyone to another Sad Jams interview. We're bringing you inside the minds of some of the best up and coming and just kind of in general best artists in emo and DIY music. I'm Anthony Corbo. I'm here with Danny from CalicoLoco. How are you today?
I am pretty good. I just saw my friend's band last night. It was great. I'm a little sore this morning, but
Sick, sick. You want to give them a plug?
yeah, I saw Totally Cashed.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Yeah.
I love them. They make bagels. They're great.
Oh,
They're I leave the shows sore. But yeah, they're great.
I'm a New York transplant, so I'm always looking for a new source for bagels out here. So definitely good to
They
keep
sell
in
them at the
mind.
merch table.
Oh, hell yeah, hell yeah.
Genius.
It's the best way to do it. Cool. So yeah, you and the band have put out a lot of music recently, and I've been really, enjoying diving into it. There's a lot of range in the songwriting. Life of the Party is such a different song from No Seas Tan Corsi, but it's still like really honed in and it's really uniquely Calico Loco. Can you like tell me a little bit more about what that songwriting process looks like for you?
Yeah, I mean, so we really only started as a band a little like we started during COVID and we never actually all met in person. We were all from Chicago. I knew everybody, but everybody else didn't really know everybody. But the as we were like recording songs, we were doing everything kind of remotely. So a lot of the stuff that we did kind of just lent better to, remote stuff. Like No Say Hashtag Cursey, which is like a bedroom pop song. But as we started meeting together in person back in last spring, we just started doing more, rocky, emo-y kind of stuff. But as far as our songwriting structure goes, usually, somebody will write a riff or a short little melody, and then I'll usually take that and turn that into a full song. And then I'll bring it to practice someday, and people will kind of go over, make their parts better because I'm not really good at bass or guitar. I'm really a pianist, so I pretty much write everything on the piano. Then I do a bad demo in Ableton, and then from there everybody just kind of makes it their own. So with that most recent song, I actually wrote that like 4 or 5 years ago. I wrote it a long time ago, but when I first brought it to practice, that people just made things their own. Like that last little 30 seconds of loud music, that wasn't in the original demo. Our guitarist Curran thought of that. Somebody's idea was to put a guitar solo in the middle, so it's kind of collaborative.
Nice. So like you mentioned coming together a little bit more during COVID and or kind of like writing songs during the COVID period and then being able to finally come together, once some of the restrictions were lifted and once it became a little bit safer to start getting together. So I noticed like a lot of singles started popping up during 2020 as well. And, getting to, being able to do things remotely was really a new concept during that time period, or it had evolved a lot during that time at least. And, along the same lines is that there was, a whole pandemic going on and there was, a lot of societal justice movements really came to the forefront during that time. I'm wondering like how your music evolved from some of those early demos that you were producing in 2019 and then over the course of being at home and so many things happening in our world at the same time, how that impacted your writing moving forward.
Well, those little demos are from 2019. I didn't really know what I was doing. I made those all by myself, just kind of on my computer. They sound really bad. So thank you for reminding me to take those off Spotify. But yeah, so like I mean, I tried to get something going in 2019 before the pandemic, but then once the pandemic started, and then with all the all the crazy stuff going on that first summer, I wasn't really thinking about music at all, and I wasn't recording, I wasn't doing anything. Um, I was kind of just like I didn't abandon the project, but I was just like I don't care. There's other things going on. And then probably around sometime towards the fall, I just started talking to some friends about getting the thing going again. Completely different people who I thought of in the beginning. Just people whoever was available, and I had all these kind of songs that I wrote before pandemic started, back from when I was in college and high school, and I just showed people the songs. They liked it. Our guitar player Curran is also a producer, so he took over the producing role. Everything sounds so good now that he's in charge. But we would just everybody had their little audio interfaces at their house. So I would lay out the structure. I would send it to everybody. They would just do their own thing. And it was really easy because we didn't have a drummer at the time, so we just kind of I recorded drums by myself at home. It was kind of a weird setup because I would record all the cymbals one at a time, and our guitar player Curran would record the snares and the toms one at a time because we're just making it happen. But it was like really easy to bust out songs every month just because it was so we were all home all the time. But once we started kind of cycling through all the songs that were pre-written, I mean, I started writing new songs probably beginning of 2021. So, yeah, I don't know. That's that, I guess.
Yeah, kudos to you for being able to pull drums together like in such a one at a time manner. I know anytime I've ever tried to mess around on a drum kit or tried to do anything, with like MIDI sampling drums or anything like that, it just all falls apart immediately. So
well, that's how Def Leppard recorded their drums.
Yes.
Our guitar player was a big Def Leppard fan when he was a kid. So he was telling me about the whole process where all of the snares and the toms and the drums themselves are all MIDI or sampled. And you would just record I would just sit at the kit and record the ride for all the parts. But now we have a drummer playing with us and he's fantastic. And I love it. It's harder to record live drums. It's slower to get the songs out, but it just sounds so much better when you have somebody who's behind the kit playing live. So I really like the last couple songs that we've been doing, and then we have a song coming out in July that I'm really excited for because I love the drums that he added. So much better than my little demo.
Yeah, I'm sure just having that human element adds so much into a mix. And so, like going on to the CalicoLoco, evolving from your project into something that becomes more of a bigger thing. Was that kind of always the plan for this when you first started writing these songs, or was that something that kind of came up over time? What was that process like as you were adding new members, and like how do you think the music evolved even further during that time?
Well, I don't have any plan at all. I never have had a plan, but I mean, it was everybody kind of when we first started with this current group of people that we have, it was just kind of like a little side thing. And as we started playing gigs and, people were coming to our gigs and we were at a spot where we were actually making enough money from merch and stuff to actually spend more time doing this. It was just nice seeing everybody kind of taking their role. Our bass player, Sarah, she didn't play bass that much when we first started the band, but, we just, COVID band, we're just kind of having fun. So our original bass player had to leave because he began architect school. So Sarah, our keyboard player, hopped over to bass, and with the most recent song that we just did coming out next month, she completely redid the bass line, and it's just so much better than anything I could have thought of. So just having everybody at their own parts, it makes the song. I mean, for me, it makes the song sound like it's actually played by musicians and not just by one person, because I don't really think about the bass other than, roots and stuff. So it's just nice getting this basic idea and then handing it to everybody else and letting them just take control. It also helps me avoid being too, self-indulgent and thinking I can get it away with, like a 2-minute guitar solo or a 2-minute synth solo or something, and having people in the band be like, no, don't do that. So
yeah, sure. I mean, like we were saying earlier, it's just that organic element that just comes in and frees everyone else to really be able to, interact with the music in their own kinds of ways. And, kind of playing on that too. CalicoLoco's got a very direct, like singer-songwriter approach to it, and that comes through in your music. But it's also really layered, and it's got like these little melodies that go throughout the song and kind of tug at your heartstrings while the while the lyrics play out the story in front of your face. I'm wondering, like, if a lot of the band you find shares a lot of the same influences, or do you guys all kind of come from very varied places and this is just kind of what meshes in the middle?
I think we all do come from different places. I really like a lot of like indie pop, stuff like Snail Mail and like Indigo D'Souza and Mitski. I know our one of our guitarists, Curran, really loves hair. Like, he used to love hair metal when he was a kid. Now he's kind of into like slowcore, more quiet stuff, which is ironic because we're so loud. Our other guitar player is really into bedroom pop. Sarah, our bass player, she listens to a lot of stuff, but I know she likes pop punk a lot. And then our drummer, Ricky, he's in like a hip hop rock fusion band on the side. So it's like really, really diverse tastes. But I think everybody just likes, the songs that we write. They're not like super out there, complicated wise. So I think it's stuff that's easy for everybody to like. So
Yeah, yeah, it definitely you get that where it's, you can find relation with it, but you can still see the things in between that really everyone can find something different to relate to at the same time, which is great.
mhm.
So kind of playing on the band being loud, but also kind of like soft at points and really just playing around with dynamics in a lot of really great ways. Your motto is loud, gay, and emo. And that strikes me as a way of saying, here's who we are, here's how we're going to say it. But it sounds also like a call to others who may feel the same and feel a similar message.
Mhm.
I'm wondering what the message that you hope to convey to your listeners is in the music that you write.
It's a good question. I mean, I don't think a lot of our songs have necessarily like some kind of message that's overarching, like between everything. Like when we first started, my original goal was just to write pop songs that are really simple. They don't have a message, but I felt like the more I wrote, the harder that was. Like No Say It's 10 Curses was like a silly song. Like it's like basically saying, stop talking, just kiss me. Like that's the whole point. But, the more I'm writing, the more it's like, I don't know. I think a lot of our songs talk about, loving who you are and like learning to accept who you are, especially stuff about gender identity and stuff like that. So it really makes me happy when I'm at shows and I see people in the crowd that just like really can relate to the lyrics. I see a lot of pins for LGBTQ flags that I've never even heard of. I'm like, yeah, it's just like, it's righteous, dude. It was nice. We played a show last Sunday at Beat Kitchen. Was it last Sunday? 2 Sundays ago. And we opened up for this pretty big touring band. But there were so many kids there. Like there were so many people like 15 or 14 or 16. And I was, they all had, a lot of them had the little flag pins or they had, the rainbow whatevers. And it was just nice seeing like our songs kind of hitting people who could really relate to it. And I'm not saying our songs are just for like certain crowd of people. I mean, anybody can listen to our songs, but it's just really nice that seeing our message hit people that can really relate to it.
Nice. And you mentioned, you have another single coming up on the way in July, which I guess now it's July, but and you couple other singles came out in 2022, a bunch of other ones in 2021. I'm wondering, is there plans to kind of evolve into maybe an EP or a full length at some point, or kind of grow into something that is a more kind of complete body of work, or are you guys on the keep releasing singles, keep doing it kind of train for a minute?
Well, it's a tough one because it's a lot of factors like time wise, but also money wise, and also just like unfortunately the days of like having an album and being able to sell the album and are just kind of over. It's like everything is based off the algorithm nowadays, which really makes it tough to do big releases. So I mean, right now the plan is to kind of just keep on doing singles. We always think of our songs as having two kind of, I hate the word era, but like two different really bodies of work. Our first 7 or so singles were all kind of like, we always kind of think of them as like the poppy, dreamy, shoegazy stuff, and everything from I Want to Be Beautiful up to now, what we're releasing on, we kind of think of that as more emo, rocky pop stuff. And that's kind of when we got our real drummer. So that's probably why. But we are making cassettes that's gonna do a physical release of our first 7 or 8 songs. And then all the songs we're releasing now, starting from either Bad Hair Day or I Want to Be Beautiful, we're gonna keep on doing singles and then kind of bring them together at the end, sell an EP, a physical thing. But eventually, we'd love to do an album, but it's kind of tough to do that without like label support. And labels are always something that we're kind of a little wary of because we've been doing all this ourselves. We've been having really good results ourselves. It's like, do we need a label involved? So stuff like that. Hopefully, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a very much like a judgment call. You're just going to make the landscape shifts like so often that it's just a lot of adjusting and a lot of adapting to what's going to work. And that's
it's also a lot easier to, if you have singles, to kind of keep people listening. Yeah. Especially because we're not like a huge band that has 1,000 person draw or people who are like, we probably couldn't sell out 1,000 records. So it's like we're doing such a big physical release, like a big album. We're just not sure if it makes sense yet. And doing singles, it helps us, keep the stuff, like keep us releasing material. Because if we released a 10-song album, then we disappeared for 9 months, start another one. So much is gonna happen between those 9 months. It's just like, let's just release songs. But I hate holding on to songs and not releasing them. I just just want to get them out.
Totally. I totally feel you on that. So you mentioned you performed at Beat Kitchen a couple of weeks ago, and do you have any other shows coming up this summer or anything else
Yeah,
you'd like to plug?
we have another show coming at Beat Kitchen
Oh,
on
nice.
July 16th. We're playing with Violet Crime, and there's another band who hasn't been announced yet, but it's looking like it's gonna be a really cool show. But we're doing
Great.
an emo social club night, Beat Kitchen. Then we're playing at the Garden, which is a really cool space in Chicago in
Yep.
August. And then there's some other fun stuff planned, but those are the next two shows.
Great. Yeah, that's super exciting. Well, cool. So this has been really great talking to you. It's been really good to go behind a little bit what's going on with CalicoLoco, what your plans are, and yeah, just kind of how the butter is churned, for lack of another expression, right here.
Yeah,
Uh, cool. Yeah. Well, this has been Danny with CalicoLoco. I'm Anthony Corbo, and this has been another Sad Jams interview. Make sure you're following We're Trying Records on all the socials. Check out the Sad Jams playlist on Spotify. Check out CalicoLoco on Spotify, on Bandcamp, anywhere else you can find your music. And we'll see you all next time.